Hey,
Hello.
everybody! Welcome to Project Next Get the Word Out. I'm Sarah Blessing. I'm here with two amazing people. These two help run the 5051 movement for Indiana. This is the group that is planning the mass peaceful protests around the whole country. You remember the No Kings protest on Trump's birthday? You remember that one where millions and millions of people attended? Yeah, that's 5051. That's our group. It's this group that we are talking to two people helping with in Indiana. What is 5051? Why did they get involved? Why is it important? Are they being paid $200 a protest? No. And let's just get into it. And how can you all get involved and when's the next one? So let's get all the info out. Thank you so much for joining us, Janet Wall-Meyers and Scott Johnson. Janet, tell us a little bit about yourself and then we'll get Scott.
So, my name is Janet Wall-Meyers. I am from Terre Haute. Prior to the last election, I was quietly living my life, working on a homestead and starting a business, making herbal remedies. And then Trump happened, and here I am.
And Scott.
So prior to February of this year, I was happily retired. I retired during the pandemic. And Trump happened. I went to my first protest on February 3rd, and I've been in it every day ever since.
Wow. Welcome to the Resistance. Nice to meet
right.
you.
Yep.
And this is a nonpartisan movement. I want to make sure people realize that. This isn't a Democrat or a Republican thing. This is we, the people, are against authoritarianism, dictatorship, going above your power, being abusive with the checks and balances that we have in place to protect our democracy. If you guys have fallen, if you all study world history at all, which I do a little bit, but I'm not an expert. And like, if you just look at the countries in South America that modeled democracy after America, and some of those countries have fallen into dictatorship. And I remember learning that a few years ago before Trump, and I was like, that seems bad. Is that going to happen to us? And I was like, nah. So
Surprise!
that's when I found out if we are not actively involved in our local politics, state politics, national politics, we can lose our power to a sort of dictator type government. Yeah. So who wants to explain, Scott or Janet, who wants to take on what is the 5051 movement? Because I think people have heard of these peaceful protests.
Yeah.
They have been making the news. They're around, maybe you've driven past one and been like, what is going on in my local town or my city? But I don't think everybody knows what 5051 is. So take it away, whoever wants to go with that one.
Do you mind if I take that one?
Sure, go Scott.
So first thing to note is in Indianapolis, 7/17 is the next protest date, 12-3 at the Indianapolis State House. Hope to see you there. So 5051, we have a statement. We're not left, we're not right, we're right versus wrong. Okay. We have people that qualify as conservatives, we have people that qualify as liberals, we have people that qualify as Democrats, we have people that qualify as anarchists. Okay. What we believe is that America is a nation of law. And you should follow the law. The US Constitution, while not a perfect document, and I think we all know where it falls down, right? It fell down right at the very beginning. It still is a fundamentally brilliant piece of writing that, honest to God, in my opinion, has never been surpassed in world history. And that one document built the country. And what we now have is an authoritarian government. Trump he's everything but a king. And there's some argument that he's a king, that he is not following the law. So what we want to see is the law followed, right? I wouldn't agree with the things Trump has done if he had followed the law, but at least he would have followed it, right? Everything that Trump did, he has a majority in the House, he has a majority in the Senate, and he controls the court. He could do everything he wanted legally. It would take longer, and it would require him to rule as a president, not a king.
Right.
Because presidents build consensus. Kings rule by fiat, which is what Trump does.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of what 5051 stands for, real simple. 50 states, 50 capitals, one movement. That's all. And what we do is we bring shock and awe to protests. And if you look at what we've done here in Indiana, and quite honestly across the nation, roughly every 2 weeks, you can guarantee that there's some kind of big 5051 event. And quite honestly, that doesn't happen in American politics. You run, if you're a political group, you run one event, maybe 2 events a year, maybe 3 if it's an election year. And quite honestly, we're so stupid we didn't know better. And we just said, well, you got to keep doing them on the regular. So we figured it out how to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm most impressed with. I remember hearing about this movement, and I have to be honest, after Trump won the election, there's a lot of things that get started. There's a lot of tiny little groups out, too many to keep track of. And I just kind of assumed this was one more of this little groups that wouldn't really do anything. And you all have blown me away with what I thought was going to happen. I am so proud of every single person that is giving their free time. They're not getting money to put on these peaceful protests across the country, and especially in Indiana, where I think people feel like they're blue dots in a red sea. And I'm always saying that is not true. And also, this isn't a political thing. This is bipartisan.
Just be clear.
I like your shirt. I like your shirt.
Yeah. So
that was great timing there.
So first question is, Janet, did I miss anything in the description of the origin story?
I don't think so. I mean, Scott and I both just kind of showed up at the first protests, and here we are.
Yeah. And so how much time are you all spending on average doing this? Because this is extra time. You're not getting paid. About how many hours a week are you spending on this?
Wow, a lot.
I don't have a job, right? Like
you retired.
I did well and cashed out in tech. So I do this full time. So
wow.
And my work habits are former tech worker, former entrepreneur. So I'm easily on the 60, 70, 80 hours a week type front.
Wow. So it's really dedication. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. That's incredible.
I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah. I mean, I started my own media network with the goal of uniting the country and stopping division and working together to solve local problems, state problems, national problems. And it seems like what you all are doing aligns very well with this media network. And absolutely. I think there's so much misinformation. Let's go into that for a little bit. So I'll just tell you, I didn't know, I wasn't planning on necessarily being involved in the 5051 movement, but I am a little bit. I run the social media for Harrison County Democrats. I'm one of the leaders in my county. And sometimes there'll be a group thread and nobody will pick up the next protest. Nobody's going to take it on. And so I'll find somebody and then I'll work with them and then I'll post it all over social media. And so I am happy to say I haven't been to the protests yet, but I've helped get them started, get them organized, and promote them. And then the last one was the biggest one, the No Kings one that we did in Corden, which was what day? What day was that? June 13th?
June 14th.
June 14th. We had 180 people, we think, at least, turn out in Corden. Harrison County, very, very red county.
Very red.
Yeah, and so that was the most we had ever had. Now, before the protests happened, we had a scary incident where a man posted on one of my social media feeds with Harrison County Dems saying he was going to watch us through a scope of his rifle. He was going to watch the protests. And then on another post, he commented how ugly and stupid I am. And so I talked with the town cops and the county cops to make sure that someone talked to him and handled it. And then also we had extra protection at the protest. But when I was dealing with that, I was talking to some of my Republican friends and they were telling me, what are you doing? Isn't this the protest that people are getting paid $200 a person to go to and they're going to cause trouble? They're going to tear up property. And I was like, no, I'm I'm helping to organize this protest. I'm not getting paid. None of my friends that are
Right.
doing it are getting paid. And then they're like, well, what about New Albany? I'm like, those are also my friends planning it. And no, they're not getting paid. And they're not planning. So I was really surprised with the amount of misinformation, disinformation about the protest, particularly for that day. Can I hear, what are your guys' thoughts? Like Janet and Scott, either one of you, what are you guys having with misinformation and things, and what do you do about it?
We get the same things that you get. We get the questions about like, well, you guys are getting paid. Like my bank account clearly attests that we are not. That is not happening. And then the general reputation that, we're out to cause trouble, that we don't like America, that we, and that's there's nothing more patriotic than protesting. Like the country was built to give us that right, and we're using it.
Yes. We saw this most recently in the Vietnam War, and everyone said, if you're against the war, you're against America. Mm-hmm. And no, people were against an unjust war, right?
Exactly.
And similarly, we are against an unjust president, right? Mm-hmm. There's a long history of civil disobedience in America. Quite honestly, it's how the country started, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget, we started by throwing tea in the harbor.
Yeah.
And this is just, we are following in a long-standing American tradition of doing what people believe is the right thing for the country. Now, and as far as the disinformation, I don't know the historical record well enough, but I am certain that they said things like this about John Adams. I am certain they said things like this, about Paul Revere back in the day. And the only difference now is we have a record of it. Mm-hmm. And because we have such good systems for disseminating information. Right. Like this is nothing different than what has been going on for 250 years.
It's interesting because social media is both the problem and the solution into being able to do this movement. We're able to connect. You guys were able to talk right now on social media, but also that's where misinformation and disinformation is spread. And I really wish our government would regulate it. I wish that there was a fine placed when people are promoting and pushing out fake narratives. They're pushing division. There's even a lot of fake bots out there that type the hateful comments to try to spread the hate, because hate and division makes money and sells, and it keeps the people in power so that we're fighting with our neighbors instead of working together, because there's more of us than against us. There's more of us fighting for basic human rights, but each other, than there are at the top making all the money off of our division. And so I get so frustrated. I'm thankful for social media that I can pump out Project Next, content and try to unite us, but we're up against so many fake things so much of the time, you can't possibly go after each one.
No, there's no way. It's like trying to go and protest against every unjust law that's proposed. It's inundating every facet of our lives. It's impossible to fight each one individually. But by using social media the way you are using the same tools to fight that they're using to fight.
I'll tell you what's hard though. Social media promotes division. They, if there's something divisive in what I say or put out, that content does better. And I'm trying to unite us. And so I watch my friends who I love very much, and they're social media content creators, and I watch them get farther to the left because that gets them more followers. And I'm trying to unite and bring us back and get away from the language that each side has, where if you don't know that language, you don't really know what they're talking about. And so it's like I'm really spending so much time trying to figure out this puzzle, and then I see this happening, the division. They profit off of it. They want us to be divided online. They reward us for being divided online. Are you all seeing that too?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
The algorithm is clearly based on engagement, and unfortunately people arguing each comment counts as them being active. So people fighting, people being nasty to each other is rewarded.
And we all have to learn that. This is new. This is new. It's not been around for very long. And the use of AI has really blown things up very quickly, and it's not regulated. It's like the wild, wild west out there. And we have to teach everybody how to use it and how to fight the division, fight the yelling. I have to work on it. I've been working on it for years since I ran for county council and state house. The hate comments, to not get fed into it and reply back in a nasty way, but to be kind. It's like we need classes on it because it is a huge problem. Okay, let's go through the big protests and what each of them meant, and then I want to talk about what this new one is, which is in just a few days, right? It's this Thursday, the 17th. So let's do the No Kings one on Trump's birthday. Why was that called No Kings? What was the theme of that one?
Janet, do you want to take that one, or you want me to take it?
Sure, I'll take that one. So, Trump has kind of put himself in a position of a king. He has expected people to bow and to grovel as if he is a king. And so the No Kings movement was in a very specific response to that this is a country that does not tolerate kings. We didn't tolerate it from the beginning. We threw tea into a harbor, and we're sure as hell not going to take it now.
And I went
on his birthday was just, an extra little level of petty.
The day after the protests, I was in Concord, Massachusetts on vacation with my family. We did a giant road trip of the Northeast coast. And we went to the bridge where the American Revolution was started. And I did a video for Project Next there. And I talked about the No Kings protest that just happened and related it to what happened there. And it really was just significant. Like, we have been against a king for a long time. And we are still against a king. And we have to teach people what that means. It doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat or you don't vote. We have to teach people America is against kings.
Right. And this is what having a king looks like, and we don't want it.
Right. And the right kind of likes to throw it in our faces that they kind of throw it in our faces that we're exaggerating, because I'm more on the left, I'm a Democrat, and they like to say that we're just blowing up and we're fear-based and we're fear-mongering.
Right.
And while I will admit sometimes we are, because we don't know whether what Trump says he's going to actually do or not. And it's hard to lessen the panic when and we kind of had to sit back and say, well, let's watch and see what happens with the courts, and let's watch and see what happens with Congress. And what we're seeing is he's doing more things than I thought he was going to be able to do.
Absolutely.
And so it's not a right versus left. It's a conversation on what does authoritarianism look like, and how do we stand against it and unite. Okay, what was one of the other protests? Because I feel like I don't remember what the other ones were. Scott, can you tell us what was another protest theme?
I know we've been doing protests since February. Okay. So one of the first ones that blew up in a really big way was the International Women's Day protest. And we didn't know what to expect. We ended up with about 1,700 people, right? For a cold day in March, that was a big deal.
And that was in Indianapolis that you're talking about?
Yep. And the focus there was issues that are relevant to women and what's going on in America. Okay.
And that really impacts Indiana, because we're one of the states that we do not have women's health care access.
We are a red state with poor health care access in every way.
Yeah.
So basically the way this all works is 50-51 is a decentralized movement with a small centralized core, which is a bit weird. But basically there's a handful of people that are referred to as 50-51 National. And what they do is they run polls of the membership, and they say, when should we do the next event and what should the theme be? And then some level of data machination happens. I don't really understand it, to be perfectly honest. and a date is handed out and a theme is handed out. And then basically they say go. And then all of the state level organizers, which are people like myself, and people who work with us, like Janet, take that and we go find a venue, a date, or we have the dates. We find a venue, we promote it, we put it on social media, we find speakers, we build musicians, we find musicians, like the whole 9 yards, and it is at times schizophrenic because we will go from sometimes protests don't catch.
Right.
Like when we did the D-Day protest, which was to honor our veterans, we had maybe 250 people there. And then we go from that to No Kings, which had 20,000 people there.
Wow. So you had 20,000 people at Indy on the No Kings Day protest. That's really amazing.
Yeah. And when we started this, I always used to worry about our numbers increasing, and now I don't. What I worry about is, did we change one mind? Did we bring one person into the fold? And I guarantee that at any event we do that.
Yeah. And it's also really caught, like you were saying, you were in Corydon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. So the smaller areas have started to do their own as well. Terre Haute had 750 for No King's Day. So even though our numbers at the state level are staying steadily growing, there also are more protests popping up all over Creation.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
One of the things that's happening is I literally could not go to the protests just in the Indianapolis area every single day. Like there's that many things that are starting to happen, and some of them are very short duration. Like yesterday morning, I found out at the end of the week that there's a local minister who's making incredible amounts of hate speech, and we had 60 people turn up at a local church to protest it.
Wow.
And
we've
got Friday protests, and
so there's multiple. So people are using the 5051 organizational tool to make their own protests, and then different reasons, specific reasons, hate speech. Yeah, that seems just so powerful. I'm really impressed with what you said, Scott, about how people are figuring out the date, the theme. That's cool, because it always does seem to be very important at that moment.
It does. And we've been remarkably blessed with incredibly high quality people that just show up and pitch in, right? And I because I'm the state organizer, like my face is all over the place, and people feel like I'm grabbing attention, and I'm not. Like, it's just how do you thank everyone is one of the problems. Right. And I try hard, but like you can never thank anybody enough. Everyone does such amazing work, so many names, both Sarah's, Amy, Tori, once upon a time, et cetera, like everyone, Alice, everyone has pitched in, and they are what have made this actually work.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I just lost my question, but what about the next protest? So we have one in Corydon on Thursday the 17th from 12 to 2 at the historic downtown square in Corydon. And what is yours, and what's the theme, and why is that the theme?
So the theme is it's a celebration of John Lewis, who's a civil rights activist, and the theme is good trouble. Right, and that's what it's about. And Janet, you're the one who's managed all the speakers for this and pulled that off. Talk about it.
So we have a variety of different speakers. This is the first time that we've used some software to help us with the process to make it more easily available to everyone. So that whereas before we were going out and we were seeking out speakers, now we've opened things up so that when someone has something they want to say, they can easily access the software to just hit a few buttons, type a few things, and apply. So we've got a huge diversity of speakers this time. I think our youngest one is 19. Um,
And she's
and that's gonna be amazing. But different. We've got some that are cautious about the future, talking about that. We have some that are celebrating small wins, giving so many people the chance to have a voice in the movement. That's very, very cool.
That's amazing. And I know that you mentioned you will be a speaker too.
I will be. I'm
That's
very,
so-
very excited about that. I think you will like my
amazing.
speech.
Yeah, a lot of people are really scared to do public speaking, but I personally like it, and I'm like, give me the biggest crowd possible. But yeah, it's a skill. So good job.
It is.
Yeah. So John Lewis was one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s friends, and he was at the Bloody Sunday peaceful protest. Well, they were peaceful on the was it Edmondson something bridge in Alabama.
I can't remember the name of it, but I know the one you mean.
And he almost died walking over, getting beat by like the local police, and it was filmed and put all over the country what these peaceful protesters were doing just for saying they wanted the Civil Rights Act passed. They wanted voting. They wanted to be able to vote, because it was very difficult, depending on what state you lived in, for people that were Black to vote. And so that really helped get the Civil Rights Act passed. And John Lewis had to be willing to die. And I think everybody, especially those that walked to the front of that line, were pretty much willing to say, I might die doing this, but we have to ask for change. And I would say most humans don't get that brave in life. And then he was a protester his whole life. He advocated for just basic civil rights, and he was a congressman, I believe in Georgia, in the Atlanta area, I think. And then he just passed away just a few years ago, and this is the anniversary of his death, July 17th. That's why it's on a Thursday instead of the normal Saturdays that a lot of them are on. There's a great documentary about John Lewis. I think it's called Good Trouble, and I believe I watched it on Hulu, but I bet you can find it in a lot of places. And I learned a lot about him, and it was really wonderful. So he is in the documentary because they did it about a year or two before he passed away.
How cool.
So anybody that wants to gear up for, why do they say good trouble? Why is good trouble associated with John Lewis? And he just looks so young when you watch the footage of the Bloody Sunday walk across the bridge. And it's just like, man, the bravery of these men and women. And also, it wasn't just Black people fighting for their own rights. There were white people. There were people of different races and different genders stepping up and doing that too.
Absolutely.
And it's important to recognize. Oh yeah, I did want to ask. I was doing an interview with, I can't think of his name right now, and we brought up the fact that it's Josh Lowry. I was doing an interview with Josh Lowry. Do y'all know him?
Yeah, I do.
He's the chair of the Democratic Party in Hamilton County, which is
Hamilton County Democrats.
Yes. And he ran for state house. And he has a lot. He's pretty big on social media. And we were doing a live, and he brought up the fact that a lot of the protesters are white. You're not seeing a lot of people of different color because they're too scared. And so what do you guys feel about that? Are you seeing that? Are you seeing people come? What do you think?
I don't think that's the reasons are much more complex than fear. But Scott, I'll let you speak to the depths of that.
So a couple of things that I can speak to authoritatively. One local Black activist who I spoke to personally, he opted to relocate to Canada when all this got started back in January.
Wow.
And his reason was, if I stay, I'm going to protest. And he felt, as a Black person, he'd be the first one to get hurt, killed, arrested. And I don't disagree with his perspective. Another person in the indie African American community that a person I respect greatly spoke to. So I don't have this on. This is one tier removed. They made the comment that Trump is a white person problem. And I believe the quote that I got was, "Fix your crazy white grandpa." Okay. I view Trump as an American problem. Okay?
Yeah.
But the other thing is, if a particular community wants other people to stand up and take the brunt because they've taken the brunt historically, I am absolutely fine with that. Right? Like, I am an old retired white guy who's done well in America, and I view it as my damn responsibility to stand up.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel very privileged as a white person born in America, with a passport.
I absolutely do.
All my documents. I think if I were here legally, but wasn't a citizen, or even just from another country and look like you're from another country, even though you're a U.S. citizen, I don't think it's safe right now for them to protest, honestly.
It's not.
No.
And so it is, you're right. It's our duty that we are safe. We are safe to protest. That we
are
this is
safer.
wrong.
Like,
We are safer.
I don't think anyone is entirely safe anymore. You watch what's happening in LA, and it is brutally scary.
But
Yeah.
I think one thing too, historically, as you look at the history of civil rights and different protests, often everyone protested together, but only the white people got the benefit of the protests. So I can see why, if I were a person of color at greater risk,
Yep.
I would want to see how things go a little bit before I risked so much.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's a consideration that has to come into the equation.
And my suspicion is, as this gets worse and worse, we will see more people of color come out, and we have already seen that. It is. You don't see a ton of people of color at our protests, but you do see them.
Yes. And it seems like No Kings was more diverse.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting to realize, like, I just never thought I would feel so thankful to be a white woman born in this country. I just didn't fathom that would happen. I mean, I knew about racism and I understand about people not liking people that look different. I just didn't foresee our government in 2025 doing this. My friend
Right.
Vicky Tencher, she is on a cruise right now, or just got back from a cruise up in the Great Lakes someplace, and she started in Canada and then worked her way down, and she said that I stopped the boat and took off 9 people that all had papers that were all legally allowed to be working on that boat. And she was just absolutely horrified and saying, like, this happened in front of my face on my vacation.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've noticed that there's a lot of characterization of the people that are being picked up as, oh, they're rapists, they're murderers. Like, no. First of all, I don't know that you know that. And second of all, a giant chunk of people who are here legally and illegally are here just trying to support their families, just trying to make a better life. They're here for the American dream, which is now becoming the American nightmare.
Yes. If you look at any of the crime statistics on immigrants, they are less likely to commit crime. They have more to lose.
Right.
It's a bad equation. And people are to some extent rational actors, not 100%, but to some extent.
Some humans commit crimes. That's all humans across every race, gender, religion. And you singling out one group and saying they're worse is morally wrong and not correct. And it's the easiest way to fearmonger and get a group, get a group all riled up. And it's sad to me that in 2025, we're not learning from history.
No, we're repeating
we had concentration camps set up. We've done this before to our American citizens.
Right.
And
it was bad then, and it's bad then. Now.
It's bad now.
Let's not do that again.
I think a lot of us are scared and we just kind of want to put blinders on. But for those of us married to people that were born in another country, having children that look like their skin color isn't white, this is a very scary time for them. And so I hope you guys do more protests on that topic and that we do all we can, because I feel like this is, for right now, the scariest thing happening. I mean, I don't know about
Yeah,
you guys.
absolutely. I mean,
It
there are
is.
a lot of dangers that come to us from protesting, but they do not even begin to compare to the reality that some people are facing, that they might be sent to South Sudan. Like,
Without
that's
due process,
ridiculous. Yeah,
without stopping and seeing, are they here illegally, and are they committing
right.
crimes, and are they
No due
bad,
process,
bad citizens, or
no
yeah.
legal representation once they're there,
And
no way to get any justice, just
Not,
disappearing.
not even able to speak the language.
right.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, just start at the basics. Like, people are being sent to countries that they have no familiarity with.
Yeah.
Um,
I almost, like, I can't think about it too much for my whole day, because then I start getting so sad. So I just allow a few minutes a day to think about what do we do with it? Because it's obviously too big for me to solve. But I do think collectively we should use our privilege as white Americans to try to stick up for people and just explain it to everybody. Because I tell you, the people that follow right-wing news are
Yep.
getting a much different
They're getting a
picture
different story.
than what we see. And I want to talk about the LA protests for a little while. Across the country, people were acting like in LA it wasn't safe, that the protesters were causing harm. And that just wasn't true. That just wasn't true. It was peaceful protesting. And so the right gets horrified by LA. What a scary city. This is terrible. But in LA, they have a very high percentage of immigrants, especially from Mexico and South America.
Yep.
And so they're more willing to stand up and say no. So when ICE tried to come in, they were actually saying, like, peacefully protesting, no, do not come in. And then the National Guard gets issued. And I just can't imagine what the people that signed up for the National Guard to protect their country, how they felt going against peaceful protesters. It must have felt terrible for a lot of them.
That's going to be some deep PTSD later.
And it's not like they can leave their job. They have to take orders and do what they're supposed to do. And so I just was kind of shocked by how misleading the information was about the LA protests. And I still don't think the majority of the country realize it, because I was like just hearing it a little bit. And I'm like, are people being violent down? No, they were not. This was propaganda. And it's hard to stop that propaganda.
So one of the things that has been unfailingly true about the Trump administration is the amount of lying. Like, Trump is, if you look at his 2016 to 2020 campaign or presidency, I think the documented count is in excess of 30,000 lies he personally told.
In those 4 years, his first term.
In the 4 years, do the math. That's an enormous amount of lies.
You can't fact check all of them. You can't take the
all
time to go to each one of those.
Yep. And when you're the most powerful man in the world, it's going to have weight. Just period. The end. It's going to have weight.
People still think that in Ohio, people are eating cats and dogs. There are still people that believe it because he said it.
Because he said it.
No matter how much documentation comes against it.
A couple things. The way we fight this is we accept that we're in a fight, and it's going to be a longer term one than we want. Okay. Now, to draw an analogy from history, the civil rights movement, start to finish, took either forever or 14 years. Right? It either dates back to the founding of the country, or it took 14 years when it formally started. Now, I've never met a person of color who said that time wasn't well spent. Right? And if this is a 14-year battle, then it's a 14-year battle. If this is, if Trump, gets out and, in the next year, fantastic. Right? But either way, this is a longer term thing than we wanted to admit in the beginning. And we just have to admit it. And we will win this bit by bit by bit. We will win this by doing this protest and the next and the next and the next and the next. And at some point, we will have brought enough of the country together that the people in power will finally see the truth. Because at some point, when you bring enough people together, politicians actually realize that they need to do their damn job.
And
I
they
want to
realize
talk a
that
minute.
actually the power rests with the people,
Correct.
not with the politicians.
Yep.
There's more of us than of them.
There are more
but
of
they're
us
not
than them.
listening.
But
Yes.
they're not
I want to talk a
Because
minute
we
about
haven't
how
made them listen.
I want to talk about how lucky we are to live in America, because after this last election, a lot of my friends said, it's over. We've lost our democracy. It's done.
Mhm.
No, it is not. We still have a democracy. It's a little bit more fragile now than it was a few years ago, but we still have one. Also, we are so lucky to have been born in this country. I talked to my friend Brian Zimmerman. He's a special forces veteran, and he's traveled to over 20 countries. And these are the countries that most people never go to because it's not safe, because they don't have democracies. They have little gangs in whatever little area, and just so many guns, and it's just not safe for people. And he's just like, I get tired of everybody whining in America because we still have our democracy and we are relatively safe and we are so lucky to have this government. And so I think we need to kind of think of that while we're fighting. We should be fighting. We should be pushing for not authoritarian government, but we should very much acknowledge that we still have a democracy. It's harder to vote. It's very hard to vote in Indiana. We have voter suppression. We have things that have been enacted to make it hard to get your vote out, but you still can vote. We still have the right.
And we've got to help the people that are being suppressed to overcome the barriers.
And it is our job to help make sure everybody knows how to vote, that they know about the primary in Indiana. It's on May 5th. That they know about this election coming up November 2026, and that they know where to go and how to vote and who should they vote for that's going to represent their area and not authoritarianism. And it's just an important point. We're lucky we get to protest. Not every country gets to protest. If you live in Russia, you don't get to protest. If you live in Russia and you get convicted of a crime, you go and sit in front of a judge, and that judge waits for a call from the government, and that government says, here's what we want done to this guy. And then they do it. And they don't have a democracy. They have a fake system that looks like it's a democracy. And we do not have that. We have problems.
Yes.
But we still got it. We can still vote.
It is fixable.
It is. I do think that more of the systems that that underlie our democracy have been torn down.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think. I think that when this all gets put back, like, it doesn't go back the way it was.
No,
right? Like,
no, we have to learn from it. We've
got to make it better.
We're talking Second Constitutional Convention, right? Yeah. Like, there are some fundamental things that have to shift. But from the perspective of America, I fundamentally agree with you, right? Like, America, I built businesses and created companies and created products my whole life, and I was able to do that because I was in America, right? In no other country in the world could I have been as successful and been able to do what I did.
Right.
I believe in the American dream. I don't have any disagreement there. But what I'm seeing is that the social structures that enabled what I was able to do, those things are going away. And they're going away in terrifying ways, that we saw through the Big Beautiful Bill. Which is really, really scary in terms of what it's going to do.
That won't happen until after the next election. So people won't feel the pain of that when they're voting.
People won't feel the pain of it when they're voting. And it's going to take effect when, basically the Republicans are predicting a lot of Democrats to get elected, and they're essentially viewing that as a surprise, right? So they're figuring that the Democrats will catch a lot of the grief for when Medicaid goes away, for when SNAP gets cut dramatically, for when food stamps go away,
hospitals
close, etc. And this really is a dramatic attempt to change the character of America and to get rid of the social structures that have allowed people who are, quote unquote, the underclass to rise.
Right.
And the America I believe in is one where there's opportunity for everyone.
Right.
And that's what I want to see come back.
Well, more than come back, it would become for the first time. We've
Yes,
never really-
it depends. Like it depends on your perspective, right? Like, but I agree. We've never been like America is an ideal,
right.
and we've never fully realized that ideal. And let's do that. But for right now, they're trying to even take the ideal away.
Right. So we at least have to stand up and protect.
I have a question for your protests. Is there any plans as it gets closer to like the primary, and then we have a cutoff day for registering to vote before the primary? Is there any plans to incorporate registering to vote with the protesters? Because when I did a protest a few years ago, not everybody was registered to vote, or they didn't know if they were registered, but you can do it with your phone and your driver's license or some type of state ID. Is there plans for that?
What we have done in the past is we have partnered with organizations that are better at that than us.
Yeah.
And we will do the same thing. And the reason why I know we will do that is because Janet, right there, will help make sure that we do. Okay.
That makes me feel better, because it's like we're showing up on the streets, but are we going to vote, and do we know who to vote for? And it's not always just blindly vote for the Democrat or blindly vote for this group.
No, we've got to actually do the
look
research.
Critically. Do the research which person is going to stand up to authoritarianism, and that's sometimes at the local level. Like in Harrison County, we're 100% Republican here, and just a few people dictate how everybody should vote. Even at the town council level, the county council, the commissioners, they're controlling them all. And we have to get people elected that are going to be like, what's best for the community? Not what's best for you at the top.
What's best for the people I serve.
Yes.
Going back to leaders as servants of the people and the voice of the people instead of bought by billionaires.
And I wish we didn't have straight party ticket voting in Indiana. I think we're one of 7 states that do that. And then I honestly, I wish we didn't have R&D. I wish we didn't have anything next to our name except for maybe the top biggest people. I wish we researched the people, because I ran for state
on your
house.
School board, who cares if it is a Democrat or a Republican running for a position on your school board? Their party platform is going to have far less impact than their personal policies.
Making school boards partisan in Indiana, which passed this past legislative session, everybody, if you didn't know, was the least popular bill that passed in Indiana. I'm very disappointed that it passed. In Harrison County, we've already for the last few elections been promoting which school board candidates are Republican. That's already been happening. So it's just we need people to realize, you got to actually put in a little bit of work, research your candidates, and ask questions, and make sure they care about the issues you care about, because we're not being heard. We're not being heard.
Go to their town halls, send them emails, communicate with them. Like, you elect them. You have the power.
One of the greatest mistakes in American politics over the last 20 years has been that we have treated American politics as if it was commerce. We give our money to Act Blue. We give our money to Mobilize. We write a check. We don't actually get out in the streets. We don't actually do the research, talk to the candidates. That's the heart of what 5051 is. We are grassroots activism in the old school trend.
Yeah. Reconnecting the people to the government. And their power.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up about the benefit of what you guys are doing here in Harrison County. It's 7 Republican votes to 3 Democrat votes in our county. And so a lot of people feel unheard on both sides, honestly, here in the county. And when they meet at a protest, a lot of the people have found friends. They found community. They've become Facebook friends. They've started hanging out. They started doing more politically active, engaging activities together. And I think that is a really beautiful thing. Think about the thousands and thousands of people in Indiana alone that have found connection with local people in their community because of your guys organizing for these protests.
It's really amazing to watch the people that are feeling emboldened to take action and people we would never expect, like Judy. We would never expect her to be leading in the ways that she is. She's a marvel.
I love Judy.
Who's
So,
Judy? Fill me in.
So Judy is this little tiny, you look at her and you say Red Riding Hood's grandmother, right? And what she has single-handedly done is she has organized protests at the governor's mansion in Indianapolis. She celebrated the governor's birthday there with cake.
That was so good.
She has been central to organizing data for us.
Getting calendars going.
Get the calendars going. Like, and you look at her and she's the last person you'd think. Yeah. And she's been fundamentally critically important.
Amazing.
The brigade, which was organized by the pseudonym Arrow Daisy, was one of the two organizers. I mean, this is a woman who, I swear to God, a strong wind would blow her over and possibly blow her away. And she looks like a force, though. On stage. And she was up on stage giving speeches, and she is a force.
She's impressive.
Yeah, and when this revolution is won, like, because we all have in our head, I think in many ways, due to a construct of media, we think of the resistance, we think Luke Skywalker, young great male dude, he's gonna fix it. And
Wonder Woman.
No, this is gonna be won by retired people and women, right?
Yeah. People with disabilities.
That's moms with children whose needs are not being met. I meet a lot of them.
Yep.
They are fighters and they are smart and they are determined. I'm one of those too.
Yep. The moms.
You're so right. Retired people, women, moms of
There's
kids.
A group there's a group of grandmothers that sing protest songs about, like, now you've pissed off grandma. It is amazing. Just the people you would never expect to be leading the way have found their place, and they are shocking all of us. It's mind blowing.
It's amazing.
If you want to be involved, if you're listening to this and you're like, I didn't know anything about 5051, but I would love to have a community of people that are also concerned about authoritarianism and want to speak up and do more, how can they get involved? Where can they find you all?
Go to a protest. Mm-hmm. More than anything else. If you want to actually be involved, here's my answer. Go to a protest and help out.
Yeah,
there
jump
is
in.
always something to do. Mm-hmm. Right, like
you'll find your people.
If a protest starts at 12, setup starts at 8 or 9 in the morning, and teardowns immediately after. Show up and lift something and carry something.
Yep.
And you'll get noticed, and you'll get a job.
And how do you find out where the protests are? Do you just go to Facebook 5051?
So you can go to Indiana5051.org. And that lists
5051.org.
And that lists the protests. And then we also have our own software suite for organizing protests that Janet was talking about earlier. That lists events also.
We're on all the major social media platforms: Facebook, Substack, YouTube, all of the. Yeah,
I really love how everybody gets to do what they want in this group. Like, I ended up making graphics. I'm making graphics for the cordon protests and putting them out there. And nobody's like saying, you shouldn't do that. It's like, no, we're running with the Good Trouble protests. We're doing it on that day. Let's go. And I just love how it's such a community. There's not a lot of gatekeeping with you all. It's get involved, help out. And I'm telling you, there's
you have an idea? Cool. We'll support you.
In a lot of other areas.
We'll shout you out. We'll get your event published. We'll be there.
Very accepting place. It's just like I am so impressed with this movement. I am so impressed with people like you two and everybody else in Indiana and all the states that are organizing with this group. You all have built something that is going to be part of the reason we're going to strengthen our democracy. Correct. I do think things are going to get worse before they get better, but I do think things are going to get better. And I think they're going to get better because of what you all are doing.
Well, I mean, the other thing is the villains never win.
Right.
Period. The end. We have all grown up with superhero movies, and we all know this to be true. The villains never win.
Right.
Right
The good
now,
guys don't last
sometimes
them,
the villains look like superheroes.
strategize them. Yep.
The Boys, y'all watch the show The Boys? Because that's where the
Yep.
superheroes are villains, but people
Yep.
think they're the good guys. It's
Yep.
very, very true to what's going on here.
It's very prescient.
It's timely.
Yeah, I want to do an episode on The Boys. Scott, maybe me and you can do one because I can't find anybody else that has watched the show.
I have been reading the comics and the media forever. So yes.
Will you message me when you have free time and let's do an episode about The Boys? That would be really fun.
To do that.
You two are amazing. You have my cell number. Feel free to send me anything and get a hold of me. And if you have another big, massive, peaceful protest coming up in the future, let's do more about that certain one. It doesn't have to be such a long show. We can just get the info out. But, I'd love to be at one and to do a Project Next episode with it. So hopefully I can do that in the near future.
How fun would that be?
Yeah.
The 7/17 is right around the corner, but 8/2 is the one after that. If you're free on a Saturday,
okay,
we'd love
and that
to do it.
one will be interesting.
Yep,
it's Gen Con weekend.
We are that day.
Janet, did you hear we have the theme?
Oh, do we?
What is it? What's
Rage
the theme?
Against the Regime.
You kind of guess what some of the music's going to be. That sounds awesome. All right.
That's
you guys
awesome.
are amazing. I am just so thankful. Is there anything that we need to say before we get off here that I forgot?
Please come to the Indianapolis State House, 12 to 3, 7/17. If you can't make that one, 8/2, 12 to 3, Indianapolis State House. And
there's a place for you.
There'll be another one in 2 weeks, people. We do this all the time.
Yeah.
And please follow Project Next Media. We're a brand new media company. We just started in December, and we're trying to unite the state and the country and work together to actually solve problems instead of just dividing through hate and just blaming each other all the time. Let's get together. Let's fix some stuff. So if you could please follow us on Facebook, invite your friends. If you could please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Project Next. And then we have a Substack. It's Project Next Indiana. And you can get emails of our shows. So then you can see them that way. We're also on podcast platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So you can just look up Project Next and follow us there. Leave us a good review. If you don't like us, just tell us on Facebook. Don't leave us a bad review. And then that will help us a lot too. And yeah, we are growing. We are here. I'm just having a blast meeting people like you two. I love it meeting these like doers. You're not just sitting back judging people being like, we shouldn't be doing this. You're out there fighting and doing the good work and causing some good trouble. So yes. Thank you guys. And I hope we keep in touch. And it just fills my heart with hope and love and appreciation. And especially Scott, you are full-time jobbing for free this movement. Thank you.
We are
going
to get there. Yep.
Thank you. Right. We are. We're going to keep going. And good job everybody with 5051. Thank you. You guys rock. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.